Now, the AFC is absolutely stacked this season, and therefore, the playoffs are coming down to the wire. So what is up, guys? Ativ here. And in this video, I will be talking about what needs to happen for certain teams to make the playoffs. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Now, the first team we're going to be talking about is the Ravens. And by the way, all the teams that I'll be talking about in today's video are 10-5 right now. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Now, the Ravens, the 10-5 Ravens, they control their own destiny, right? What needs to happen is if they beat the Bengals, they're in. I mean, it's the Bengals, let's be real here. So, it's not that much work. I think the Ravens, they will definitely make it. Like, it's the Bengals, come on now, how hard can that possibly be? So, if they beat the Bengals, the Ravens are in. If they don't, though, then they're going to need the Browns, who are playing the Steelers, to lose. And that actually has a very high chance of happening. And if that doesn't or if the Browns don't lose, then they need the Colts to lose versus the Jaguars, which has a very low chance of happening. Now, if this doesn't happen, they need to tie, and they need the Dolphins, who are playing. The Dolphins have a tough matchup this week. They're playing the Bills, so they need the Bills to win versus the Dolphins, and if they tie. And if they tie as well, then they need the Titans to lose. Now, the Titans, they're playing the Texans, so that's probably not going to happen. If they tie, then another thing they need to happen is for the Browns to tie or lose, like I already said earlier. That has a very high chance of happening. And if they tie as well, they need the Colts to lose. So the Ravens, I think that the most likely thing that will happen is for them to beat the Bengals, and they're in. I doubt they're going to lose to the Bengals. They've been looking very good these past couple of weeks. Lamar Jackson, he's been on a roll. I mean, he's definitely getting into his groove. He's not playing like no MVP Lamar, but he's showing how he was the MVP last season. But that's it for the Ravens. I think that they're definitely going to make it. So after the Ravens, we have the Titans. And the Titans, I'm not 100% sure about this. I looked it up. I couldn't find too much stuff. But the most likely chance for their playoffs is that they're going to host the wild card. If the Titans win versus the Texans, who the team they're going to play this week, they're in. They clinch their playoff berth. They clinch their division, I'm pretty sure. That means that they're going to be number one over the Colts no matter what the Colts do. And I think that that will most likely happen. I think that the Titans, that's what's going to happen. I think that they will go to the playoffs as well. They're going to win. The Colts are going to be second. And yeah, that's just how it's going to work. So the Titans, I mean, the Titans, that Packers loss was really big. Like, the Packers, that was a very important game for both of the teams, and Derrick Henry, he did not play well, but I think Derrick Henry will go off in this game versus the Texans, because if you remember last game, he played versus the Texans, 212 yards and a game-winning receiving touchdown in overtime. So while I don't think it'll be that dramatic, I think that the Titans will win. So the Titans will be in the playoffs. So far that's 2 out of the 4 teams that can be in the playoffs. We are talking about 5 teams today, and only 4 can make it. So 1 will sadly not have to be there. That's the Titans. And I think so far the 2 teams, the Ravens and the Titans, I think that they're both going to make the playoffs. Now, after the Titans, we're going to talk about the Browns. The Browns, they've got a hard matchup. Now, the first thing they need to happen, if they don't win versus the Steelers, if the Browns beat the Steelers, they're in. But if that doesn't happen, then what needs to happen is the Colts lose to the Jaguars, which probably won't happen. And if the Colts don't lose to the Jaguars, then they need some luck on their side. The Packers need to win. Oh wait, sorry. So the Packers have already won versus the Titans, right? So now they're going to need the Titans to lose to a second time in a row versus the Texans, which I don't think that will happen. They're going to need the Ravens to defeat the Bengals, which I think that will happen. And they're going to need the Dolphins to defeat the Bills. which I will be talking about later on my thoughts. But honestly, I think that the Browns, they have the least chance of any team that we're going to be talking about today of making it. They need a lot of things to happen if they don't beat the Steelers. And I mean, you lost to the Jets. You're going to want vengeance. I think that there's a chance that they beat the Steelers, but the Steelers, they're going to be very happy after coming off of that Colts win, And I don't think the Browns are going to make it, honestly. Now, we're going to go talk about the Colts. And the Colts, they don't control their own destiny, which is a problem for sure. If they controlled their own destiny, it would be much nicer for them. But what they need to happen is, first of all, they're going to have to defeat the Jaguars. I have a lot of confidence in them on defeating the Jaguars. And although the Jaguars' first win did come in their first week versus the Colts, I think the Colts are going to want vengeance on that. They're definitely not too happy about that. So they're going to want to win against that. And after that happens, they're going to need one of the teams, the Titans, Ravens, Browns, or Dolphins, one of the 10-5 teams, to either lose their game or tie their game. And I think the most likely team that will lose or tie their game is the Browns or the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are playing the Bills. And honestly, I think that the Colts, they have a very high chance of making this. Now, I think that the Colts, they have a high chance of making it. The Colts surprised me a lot. I did not think that they'd be doing all of this. At one point, I thought the Colts were overrated because of everyone saying they were underrated. And now I don't think they're underrated or overrated. I think they're rated properly. People know how good they are. Tom Grossi even put them above the Titans, which, while I don't agree with that, you can see how much people think of the Colts, But, if the Colts could also get in with a tie and a loss by any of the other teams, but I think that the Colts will get in with the scenario I already told you. And our final team is the Dolphins. The Dolphins are playing the Bills. This is by far one of the hardest matchups. It's between the Steelers game for the Browns or this game for the Bills and the Dolphins. The Dolphins, if they win at Buffalo, no matter what, they're in. So they kind of control their own destiny, But if that doesn't happen, and honestly, I think that the Bills are going to want their players to get some rest. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say, the Browns, they're going to play versus a team that's not even starting Ben Roethlisberger. We all know how that went last season, don't we? Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett. Boy, oh boy. But, it's probably not going to happen this season, let's be real here. But I think that the Browns, actually, they have a chance of winning. I forgot to say that. Because Mason Rudolph is the starting QB, and Steelers receivers can't catch much, although their receivers did have great games last week. But anyways, back to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they need to win versus Buffalo. I think that could have a high chance of happening. Buffalo, they're probably going to rest their starters, but it would be cool to see Stephon Diggs play, because I do want him to become the receiving leader. It would just be cool, Stephon Diggs, he deserves it. He's having an amazing season, and it would just be cool, But if they win at Buffalo, no matter what, they're in. But if they lose, then they can also make the playoffs if the Browns lose, which I don't think will happen, or if the Ravens lose to Cincinnati. I don't think that's going to happen, honestly. Or if the Colts lose to Jacksonville, which is probably the least chance of happening. So honestly, I think that the Dolphins, I think that they can actually beat the Bills. But if they don't beat the Bills, I think that there's still a chance that they can make it if the Browns lose. But I think that of all the teams I'm saying that will make it, the Dolphins definitely have the least chance. As much as I hate to say it, I don't know if the Browns can make it or not. It's just, I don't really know if I like or dislike the Browns. It's just that I don't know if they can beat the Steelers. I know I said they might be able to. But Mason Rudolph, when you have that receiving core and that defense, if Baker Mayfield can go off, then I think that will give the Browns a very high shot. It's between the Browns and Dolphins in my eyes for the teams that won't make it. So leave a comment below telling me which team you won't make it. It is the Ravens playing the Bengals. They're 10-5. The Titans playing the Texans. Steelers versus the Browns. Jaguars at Colts, and Dolphins at Bills. So, I'm going to go with the Browns not making it. It's between the Browns and the Dolphins for me. I'm going to give it to the Browns not making it. Sorry, Browns. Y'all had a great season up to this point, but I just can't have you making it. Leave a comment down below if you want, telling me which team you think won't make it. And yeah, that will do it for this video. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.